Shohei Ohtani versus reality. 2 years, 2 World Series rings. That's how Shohei Ohtani's Dodger career started. And somehow that still undersells it because, yes, the trophies matter. That's the most important part. But the ride to get there, what Ohtani has done between those champagne showers is something we've literally never seen before. Let's start off 2024. Ohtani didn't just join the 40-40 club. He obliterated concept of limits, becoming the first player ever to hit at least 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in a single season. That was an evolution. That was mutation. Then came 2025. What's the encore season? No 50 steals this time. Sorry, everybody. Instead, he casually came back to the mound mid-June return, 47 innings, 62 strikeouts. And he obliterated the Dodgers home run record again, 55 home runs. So, Travis, we always say a 50-50 club. Technically, it's a 55-55 club for Shohei Ohtani. Is there anything he can't do? So now the question is, what the hell is he going to do next? I know you brought up the Rams. I know you brought up the Lakers. But in the diamond, what can he do next?
I think there are 2 things left for him to do on a baseball field that he has not done yet. And that doesn't mean he won't, continue to amaze us and win MVPs and put his team in a position to win World Series years after year after year. But I think as far as individual accomplishments go, I think there are really 2 things left. One, I think, is possible. The other one, I think, is if it were anybody other than Shohei Ohtani, it would be impossible. And it might be the one thing that even for him might be slightly out of reach. Let's start with the one that I think is a little bit more possible. I think hitting 60 home runs has to be something on the list because he's close, right? He's in the mid 50s 2 years in a row. And, he's a slugger. So he goes through patches of time where he's not locked in, where he does strike out a lot, where the home runs aren't coming. And then when they come in bunches. He is an unbelievably productive slugger. And even though he does strike out a lot, his batting average and all that kind of stuff is pretty good. But you're only talking about a handful of home runs more to get to 60, which is really extraordinary when you think about it, because no one had ever hit 50 in the history of the Los Angeles Dodgers. A couple of guys had gotten pretty close. Cody Bellinger had 49, but he goes by 50 in his first year comfortably. He goes by 50 and breaks his own record in year number 2. So I think the progression of home runs heading towards 60 is a real possibility. And we know that he likes kind of chasing numbers. We know that he likes those benchmarks that no one else has gotten to. So I think that's a possibility, and one that I don't know if I'd bet against him. It's a ton, but I don't know if I would say he can't do it. The other one, which I don't think he can, simply because I don't think even the extraordinary Shohei Ohtani, his body is unable to do it, is win a Cy Young Award. That's the one, right? Because I just don't think he'll get enough innings. I don't think he'll get enough time on the mound to do it. And trying to do both of those things at the same time, I think even for him may be too much of an ask. And that we could even kind of throw it out there is mind-boggling, because those numbers you just read, he's averaging more than a strikeout an inning. Nobody really gets hits off of him. When he's off, it's because they nickel and dime him. There's a walk here and there, but he rarely gets knocked around. I just don't know if he'll get the 150, 200 innings necessary to kind of not qualify, so to speak, but kind of qualify in the eyes of the voters. So I think that's the one that might be a bridge too far. But with him, who knows, man?
Yeah, and that was going to be my first one. It's like, okay, we never thought that 50-50 was possible. Shohei did it. We never thought we'd see somebody get even close to hitting 50 home runs and striking out 50 batters the same season. Because let's remember, Shohei Ohtani, he actually pitched with the the Anaheim Angels, the Orange County Angels, for a considerable amount of games between 21 and 23, where he actually surpassed the 50 strikeout benchmark by a mile. He had over 150 strikeouts each of those seasons, but he never hit over 50 home runs in those campaigns. Now it's like, okay, you already saw him get in a limited capacity, because that's what I was like. He started pitching in mid-June and he was pitching an inning. He didn't start pitching 4+ innings until towards the end of the season. He ended up, I think, with 3 games with 5+ innings in the regular season. So if we're able to get him on the mound And look, I don't want to say full games or 7 innings. If we're able to get him on the mound for 5+ innings, 5 innings, 5 and a third, 6 innings in a consistent manner with the way that he pitches, I don't feel like it's too crazy to say Shohei Ohtani won't win a Cy Young. Why? Because it's good for baseball. Because Shohei Ohtani has been fantastic for the sport. So if we're able to think about a player who wins Cy Young and MVP the same season, oh my God, that would be just bananas. And hopefully we're able to see it with Shohei Ohtani, both as a pitcher and a batter. I agree. They're also going to put a limit to him and not say it's like, okay, go berserk like you did with the Angels where he pitched for, I mean, let me look at the stats right here from when he was pitching over there in LA. 130 innings in 21, 166 in 22, 132 in 23 with over 20 starts in each of those seasons. I don't know if the Dodgers will let him go that far, but if they get at least close, I feel that he'll be contending for that Cy Young award.
Yeah, I don't even know if 22 starts gets it done, right? I think it has to be probably a little bit more than that. And the other part of this, and look, this is when you're dealing with Ohtani, the rules are out the window because he's just such a unique athlete, and we've never seen anything like this. We don't know how this is going to look, start to start, day to day, week to week, month to month. But he is getting older, and at some point there has to be a give back between the offensive player and the pitcher. And I don't know where that give back is. He's more valuable as an offensive player. He plays every day as an offensive player. He plays once a week as a pitcher. So I think if there's that give and take, that push and pull, that we're going to pull it away from the pitching and put it towards the offensive side. We've seen him, I don't, struggle is too strong of a word, but maybe not be the best version of himself on the days after he pitches. So I don't know how the Dodgers would want to deal with that. Now, here's the wild card in all this, Harry. If Shohei Ohtani decides that he wants to win the Cy Young, then Shohei Ohtani is going to try to win the Cy Young. There's no talking him out of it. He's one of those guys who says, I'm going to go do this. He's going to go do it. The Dodgers can't really stop him from it. They can suggest, they can try to, nudge him in one direction or another, but he's going to go do what he wants to do. And if he wants to make his 25 starts and try to at least get close to that 200 inning mark, he could probably do it. Now, whether he can perform at that level over that amount of time, we'll see. I'm not betting against it, but I think the Dodgers will do everything in their power. And again, like I said, they can't really stop him, but they can strongly try to recommend against him mashing the gas. Because look, the Dodgers are about winning World Series. The Dodgers are about continuing on this dynasty, and having Shohei Ohtani pitch a bunch of innings in May, June, and July doesn't really help them do that. They don't need him to do that. So I think they'll be cautious with that. But we're on the same page, man. As far as winning a Cy Young, that's the last frontier for this man.
Here you go. I got one that might be a little bit more realistic. Shohei Ohtani batting over 300 and having a sub-2 ERA season.
Oh, wow. That's great.
That?
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. He could do that. Now, that's something he could do. 300 would be hard because just the amount of strikeouts.
He's only done it twice in his career.
Yeah. But I'm
like, hey, it's like a challenge for Shohei. Okay, what the hell am I going to do next? I got 8 years left with the Dodgers on this contract, and I'm the most popular baseball player in the universe right now. I need people to just tune in and be like, okay, we've already seen him go 50-50 one way, 50-50 another. What else can we do? I was like, okay, maybe the home run number is like, okay, what is it going to do? Hit 100 home runs and then be like, okay, damn, that's nuts. I think batting 300 and having a sub-2 ERA, I ain't going to be even that tough. Having the best ERA in his career would be it'd be under 2.3 in 2022. Have a sub-2.3 ERA and hit over 300 in the same year. That would be pretty cool.
He could do that and throw in 40+ home runs and 20+ steals. And now we're getting into comic book territory stuff all over again. And not that we haven't seen it before, because we have.
That's what's like we are in comic book territory with Shohei Ohtani every time that he's up at the plate, every time he does something. So every time we think we found the ceiling with Show, he punches through it and he creates another one. And that leads us perfectly into what it costs to keep a player like that and a team like this all together. Next on Locked On Dodgers, the Dodgers just received the most expensive bill in Major League Baseball history, and somehow it might be worth every single penny. Thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now, take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Dodgers with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to LockedOnDodgers.com. LockedOnDodgers.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. The cost of a crown. Dynasties aren't cheap, and the Dodgers just proved it in black and white. Major League Baseball's final luxury tax numbers are in, and the Dodgers didn't just lead the league, they lapped the field. Los Angeles is staring at a $169 million luxury tax bill for the 2025 season, the highest single-season tax payments ever. Not contracts, just penalty. To put that into perspective, Travis, that tax bill alone is larger than the entire payrolls of nearly half the league. And this wasn't some accident. This was the price of dominance for the boys in blue in a sport that doesn't have a salary cap at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. It at the moment is right. It just as a quick aside, I ran into somebody the other day who is directly connected to the player side of Major League Baseball. And he told me that every player is 100% prepared for a work stoppage at the end of next year, that it's coming, that it is going to come. So hopefully they're wrong. Hopefully there's some sort of agreement that we can get there before then. But yeah, Harry, look, this is part of the reason why half the teams are like, this is absurd. Now, that luxury tax money, a lot of that money gets spread around the other teams. So I don't know how excited they're going to be to see that faucet of money coming their way turned off. But look,
they don't have Sportsnet LA paying the bills. They ain't got like all the FanDuel, the Sportsnet network part is like kind of potentially going down. So it's hey, it's like y'all might need this money in the future and y'all might not have it. So you're going to spend even less.
Yeah, for sure. But look, this is you and I are blessed, spoiled, however you want to look at it, to have an ownership group that not only look, there are a lot of groups that have a lot of money, right? But they don't all spend it well. That you look at the Mets, or even spend it. Now I'm just talking about the teams that spend. Like, look, you're never going to convince the Pirates to spend money or the Rockies to spend money. They're never going to do it because they don't want to and they don't care about winning. That's fine. But it's the teams that, like the Mets, who have Steve Cohen, who's the richest guy in baseball, and he's spending money, and he's making some interesting moves with Juan Soto, who had a great year but didn't really affect winning. That it's where does the money go and what are the results? The Dodgers not only spend money on Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Freeman and Betts and Snell and all these other guys that they go out there and get, but they all hit, right? They have all, paid off when they've made these big bets on these players. That doesn't typically happen. You cover the NFL, I cover the NFL. So often you'll go in, and basketball, this happens frequently, where you'll try to get that big free agent and he comes in and it's like, yeah, he's all right, but it doesn't really just jump that team up to the next level. Almost without exception, the guys, especially the high dollar guys that the Dodgers have signed, have directly led to more winning. And that's what everybody in every sport wants. It's just that the Dodgers have been better at it than everybody else. And guess what? It costs a lot, right? To go in there. Shohei's not coming for nothing. Yamamoto's not coming for nothing. These guys are incredibly expensive, but they've made incredibly tactical bets on the right people.
Yeah, we're talking about $169 million for the Dodgers. You brought up the Mets, $91.6 million, and they missed a 12-team postseason in 2025. But there are also a total of 9 teams. The Yankees, who couldn't make it out of that first round that they played in. You look over at squads like Philadelphia, like Toronto, that made the World Series. San Diego, they made the playoffs. Boston, Houston, Texas. You're talking like the Texans didn't make the postseason. If I recall correctly, the Red Sox didn't either, right?
No.
So it's not only like you said, spending the money, it's spending it wisely, having the right people in place. And that's something that baseball doesn't have a salary cap on. The people that you have in the front office, the people that you have is in the scouting department, the people that you invest money for to find the right players, not only via free agency or trades, but getting guys in the Dominican Republic, in Mexico, in Cuba, and other places, and start, or even in colleges and high schools, and finding the players that you can draft. It's all a machine. And the Dodgers, yeah, you see the big payroll, and they're taking advantage of a sport. Like I said, the NFL, they do have a salary cap, and you have to figure out ways to then be like, okay, let's spread the money through years. Let's figure out a way to keep this player happy with guaranteed money here instead of spreading it out throughout the season, an opt out here, an opt out there, or a trade clause. That you figure out ways to make your team better. And the Dodgers, they know it's like, okay, we make money, we invest it back on this team. We don't just keep it for ourselves and be happy with what we're making, which is what a lot of owners do all throughout baseball.
Yeah, a couple of things. You mentioned the Padres. I think the Padres are a great example. They went for it, right? They went out and they gave Machado all the money. They went out and they gave Tatis all the money, and Bogarts, and they Darvish. Like they
trade everyone to all their prospects.
Spending prospects, spending cash. And the Padres have been good, but they haven't been great. They're and what's interesting with them is they're entering a period in their history where that money is going to age really poorly. Like that Machado money is going to age badly. That Bogarts money is already aging poorly. And, Tatis, I still think has a lot of high side, but it hasn't hit yet. So you're spending all this money. At least the Dodger money is hitting along the way. And I also like what you said, Harry, too, about, you can buy smart, right? You can go out and find the smartest people in other places, but they got to want to come and they got to want to be here with you as well. And I think that's something else the Dodgers have done and will continue to do. Like you can say you can only spend X hundreds of millions on your payroll. Okay, but I can still buy the scouts and the analytics guys, and I can go find the smartest people in this sport so I can continue to pick better players than the other guys. Their advantage, their economic advantage may be neutralized to some point if there is some salary structure at some point, but their intellectual advantage won't be.